BEEX project is a no-profit foundation about visual art and photography. If you want to help us, just drop a donation on buymeacoffee.com/BerlinExplorer. So welcome to 50 Minutes of Experience, and today I'm with Ludovico Andrea from London, actually, but also from Rome, we can say. So welcome.
Hi, how you doing?
Yeah, really good. And you?
Yeah, I'm alright. I'm just in London now. I landed just this morning.
Yeah, so how was to come back in London?
Actually, I'm just really doing back and forth, like from time to time. It's like since the last 6 months, I've been here. I say like 4 times, even though like all the COVID measures, like I was able to come back and do things here, and yeah, I moved back to Rome like in February, but most of the job I was doing is actually in London, and yeah, so let's say it's like a second home. If I wouldn't say like the first, but it's sort of like I feel quite at home here.
Yeah, I can understand. Yeah, that's the same for me in Berlin. If you can introduce a bit of you, will be nice. Then, who doesn't know you can understand something more about you, and then we can talk about some of your experience, your picture, and so on.
Yeah. So let's say I left Rome when I was 22. It was like 10 years ago, and I went to Berlin. I stayed in Berlin for 6 years. It's there I started my photography career, and then it developed with the time. Like before, when I was in Berlin, I was way more into fine art and curating, and so like doing a lot of exhibitions, like group exhibitions and stuff like that. Then when I came to London, I started doing more fashion, and I kind of like stopped doing curating jobs and like curating exhibition, and I start working on my own things more. And so yeah, now I'm in Rome. Like I came back to Rome like 6 months ago, and I started a project in Rome, like like a art production company, and yeah. So basically, I'm trying to start building up things in Rome, and but most of the things I'm doing are actually in London. And yeah, tomorrow I have like this lunch. I'm launching a zine in London at Photo Book Cafe. It's a quite known place in London for exhibiting zines and books, like photography books. And tomorrow there will be some of my prints hanging in a studio 132 in Berlin for an auction. And yeah, so it's pretty much it, like
More or less. So yeah, I discovered you there in Photo Book Cafe, and I was curious to talk with you about your work. And yeah, it's quite impressive. Also, it's really interesting and experimental in some ways. And I have seen that you produced also in the past so many fanzine. And yeah, I wanted to talk with you more about what is your feeling and how is going your experience in photography, in which way you want to develop that, and yeah, just to talk about that.
so yeah, let's say like my experience with photography, it's really into storytelling. So I'm always like hanging around. Um, so photography at first, but as well, like I like to go into videos and like shorts, movies and stuff like that, because like my main focus is like actually telling stories and like develop um, symbolism and like these kind of things with images. And somehow photography is I don't know, like it is cool when you want to explore your own view, because you have to be really like concise with what you want to say into pictures. But sometimes it's not enough when you want to explore a topic like fully. So let's say I'm always in between like photography and video making, and now I'm trying to move more into filmmaking, and so that's why my photography sometimes feels like really experimental, because it's more a way of like doing sort of like visual poetry rather than creating just images. And so yeah, that's why I was doing a lot of like fanzine and books and stuff like that, because that was the only way to get into um, develop concepts through like a series of images. And so yeah, that and that's how I like to work with photography.
And
And
how happened that you started to make fanzine? It's something that someone else introduced you in, or it's something you discovered by yourself? And I think you started to print out when you was in Rome, right?
um, so the things with like the fanzine is like I always like understood photography in terms of like books, because I like the magazines, I like the photography book, because at first I come from graphic design, and so graphic design has really like this feeling for books and like products and stuff like that. So my first project was basically documenting my lifestyle through symbols and like subconscious images that I could find around. So I was snapping a lot, and then I was going to Rosman. I think you know Rosman in Berlin, and they have this like printing processing for um, analog picture. So I was full of like these small prints, and so I started to put them together and see like, oh, they look really good all together. Like maybe they don't make sense if you put them like by their own, but if you start like putting them like in order, then you can actually see there is a story, there is a soft message that you can catch from like the composition. And so then like I joined my first like photography collective in Berlin.
Yeah.
It's the, and we were doing this game where like all these like little prints, and we were playing with them like and selecting them and stuff. So I was like, okay, I want to do a book with that, and which never happened actually. Just like I just did scenes and scenes. Like I'm still working on like doing books, because I think when I want to do, when I would like to do a book, I will actually want to put some words inside and like to work on dialogues and having like something like more content to give, like rather than just pictures. So then I came back to Rome and for a little while. And in Rome, there is a big culture for like they call it authorial photography.
Yeah.
And they do a lot of like scenes and books and stuff like that. So I don't know. I felt like it came easier for me to start really put like the picture into paper, and I was cutting off like I don't know A4 paper, and then I will make like little leaflet and books with that, and then I would paste the pictures onto the paper to make like the stories, and they were working. But then I start like really understanding like the process of building a story when when I started digging into script writing and like storytelling, like but in like literature and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, okay, there is a way of building a story, uh, different techniques that is not depending on the picture. It's more depending on the idea of who's the hero and what is he going through. And there is always like, so I understood there is like always way of building stories that are really deep deep into like mythology and stuff like that. And so that's when I really started making the zines, when I knew that I could like build the story in a classic fashion, let's say. And so yeah, that's more or less the deal, and how I was approaching all the zines I was doing.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
I totally get it, the point. And just I'm curious to listen some more word from you on your recent work is Life on Mars, and how did you got in touch with the topic? It started from a collection of different pictures, or it's something you worked on during the time with an intention? It's more a selective work, or it's more intentional project?
so Life on Mars is like a sort of prequel of another work I did before, and it was like the other work. It was Martians on Venus, and so the topic came out because I just like it came through like this work, Martians on Venus, and I was like, okay, I was invited to shoot at a porn like erotic fair in Berlin called Venus, and I found it like not interesting until like I understood the real interesting thing for me in the fair, and this erotic fair was the behaviors of the man, the middleman, you know, like the machist man inside that environment. So I was like, okay, like the margins on Venice is like the male, like the main man, like the straight man, landing into a planet called Venus and trying to catch, trying to understand how to behave inside that world, because that was happening. Like the men, they couldn't relate with the woman at all. They could only watch, and they were like really kind of aliens into this sort of planet, and they call it Venus. And then I was like, okay, I do this story, but is that it? You know, because like the world we're living, it's like really male supremacies, like straight man, white man supremacy, and so like where we live in is actually like I kind of compare it to Mars, and I wanted to explore the way how the man and our society is actually uh, spoiling and destroying the world we're living inside. Even though we come from like really deep rooted um, cultures, like you know the Roman and Greeks, and like you know all this mythology and stuff. That's why I always like try to bring inside this mythology, like the Martians and the Venusians, and a lot of pictures are taken in Rome and Greece, and they have like a lot of like these gods and stuff like that, because the thing is like they like in the back in the days when like you know in the times of the Romans and the Greeks, they build up like a culture that was really like strong and rooted, and we can't really reconnect with that. And so they, in this story, I try to make like this nostalgic feeling of how our society built, like we build a society upon the Romans and the Greek old societies, but we actually not able to keep up with what they did, and we just like destroying everything. So that's how like that's how the story actually unfold inside the zine. It's just like showing how we are not able to keep up with what the ancients did, and we just like that we just trying to even like to leave our planet, you know, like they say like they want to go to Mars, like we're just failing, and that's the story more or less. So it's just like it's getting complicated with the time, and it's long work as well, but I think like it's getting to a certain point, and I really enjoy like digging into this topic because it just revealed me like how we are not like um, we are not good with the task like of like progressing with like the evolution. We're just failing with it.
Yeah, I think I got your point of view. It's a bit complicated, the project. Uh,
Yeah.
and yeah, but I got the point because I come also from this style of photography, so it's more related to conceptual stuff in the raw vision, raw picture. Most of them are instinctive, and yeah, building a project is more like to see and to discover than to research the right images, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's really like at the end of the day, like all my work is really like to a like sort of instinctive and subconscious level. So when I kind of like have a story in mind, and the images start to appear from their own. I don't really compose things. I just see, oh, this is really too, like when I see something on the street and I show it, I say, okay, this is really giving me that vibe, that topic, and it's really casual. So yeah, it's quite instinctive.
Yeah. So I want to thank you a lot, Ludovico, for your time and for this small talk we had about you. I think yeah, we can have also in the future something else, and I hope to collaborate again with you or to collaborate with you with other stuff, especially also in the tutorial publication would be nice. And if anyone want to see the work of Ludovico, we'll find the link in description. If you want to comment or you want to know more about Ludovico, you can send also a voice message in the comment. And thank you a lot for your time again.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. It was a pleasure.
Thanks for listening to our podcast. Learn more about our project at allmylinks.com/BerlinExplorer or visit our Instagram and follow BerlinExplorer project.